Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw. On today's episode, we're talking AEW Dynamite from last night, this week's AEW Dynamite, and the announcement that Sting has decided when he's going to be done. We're going to talk about what we'd like to see over the next, 3 months now until the Stinger
Revolution's usually in February, so it's like 4 months.
I know he said Revolution 2024. Didn't he also say January? I thought that was weird. Or
I didn't hear January.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong about that. Revolution 2024.
Yeah, usually
So
February.
we got 4 months, early 2024. So we're going to talk about how that might play out because that was kind of interesting. Also, it seems like AEW is setting up a couple different targets or a couple different people coming after MJF.
Oh, he's got a lot of people coming after him.
Yeah, targeting that AEW championship. We're going to talk about that on the road to his they've sort of dropped the bidding war of 2024. He brings it up every once in a while, but it's not like a big thing. And we're coming down to 6 weeks until we got all of November, all of December, I guess. So we've got
so that's 10 weeks or so.
We've got 10 weeks or so.
About 10 weeks or so till the end of the year. You'd think if this was going to be a major plot point, they'd start rolling with it, but they really haven't yet. They backed off from it. Before that, though, let's talk about this. Chris Jericho.
Oh,
you know him.
Wow. Yeah.
The Ocho.
The Pain Maker. We could be here all day talking his nicknames.
The demo god, all his nicknames.
Lionheart,
He spoke with
Ocho.
The Messenger. I don't know what The Messenger is. It's a website. About AEW taking that L from NXT last week during the Tuesday Night Wars. This is what the Ocho, Demo God, Lionheart, Painmaker, Y2J.
Y2J.
Am I missing any?
He calls himself, I think, the best of all time or the best in the world.
The best in the world. He's the best
at what
in the world.
he does. That's what he said. I'm the best in the world at what I do. Yeah.
Best in the world at what I do. This is what he had to say. Quote, you can only bring in Cena and Undertaker and Cody and everyone else so much because no one wants to work on their secondary show all the time. That's my added emphasis. And it was a fun little, hey, F you, AEW. I didn't really worry about it. I told Tony, well, if you want to fire back, bring in Shaq and Snoop Dogg and those types of guys. Mike Tyson. But Tony didn't do that. We relied on our show and our guys and our girls, and that's the way it's always been for us. So don't get too far up your own ass because that didn't do that good of a job as far as crushing us. Did you not see the numbers? And our show was better than theirs, quite frankly, so it doesn't bother me. Now, keep this in mind. Last week, NXT nearly did $1 million.
Yeah.
This week, without Cena, without Undertaker, without Cody, still did a really good number.
Yeah.
798,000. It's like the fifth or sixth time in the last 2 months they've been around or above 800,000 viewers.
So a little bit of,
what Dynamite does, and when we get this in real quick, 0.23, and that all important 18 to 49 demo.
The week prior to the Big Tuesday episode did 820 or 860, something like that. But it also had a Becky Lynch main event match.
Yeah.
She was on NXT this week, but only in a video promo. So this week it heavily centered around who they have right now. People they're into the Trick Mello drama going on right now.
Well, there's a whodunit now. Who attacked Trick?
And that's right. There's a big whodunit now. So was it Mello? Is that going to be the case? What's going on? Carmelo was wearing the Shawn Michaels black leather jacket on NXT. But going back to what Chris Jericho had to say, look, man, it's great to support your company. It's great to defend your company. Got your asses handed to you.
Take it on the chin and move on. That's what I say.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. You don't. Well, here's one thing. You never say, hey, we should bring in Shaq and Snoop Dogg and Mike Tyson because they're not going to be. That's not. There's nothing AEW could have done better except to book a better show. Their creative has been in the dumpster since probably fall of 2022, since basically a year now.
Yeah.
And they need to work on their creative. That's the bottom line.
They do. They should have called Bill Goldberg.
Okay, that is actually a name that would have popped a rating. It is. It totally is. That'd be kind of awesome. I'd love to see Bill back.
Not so excited about seeing Bill back, but if they wanted to pop a number against NXT, Bill might have done it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. But yeah, we'll see. It's good to see NXT. It's been a long time now. What was it? I think September of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, that 2.0 debuted with replace the black and the gold. And, they have been able to build some stars that people are interested in. And I think they're really appealing. to a wide range of people as well. I mean, they've got a lot of women's wrestling on there. They got a lot of representation on there. They got some really good wrestlers on there. They have some people that are still, a bit on the green side in the ring, but they're really mixing it up a little bit better now than they have in the past. I think this last Premium Live event really helped them. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. The first big, meaty statement from anybody, I think, in AEW about...
Well, outside of Tony Khan, about breaking Undertaker and John Cena's...
Yeah, right.
Like, irrelevant streaks,
Again, not really the lesson to take away from that.
No, again, take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Move on with your day.
Yeah, they're dealt that bad hand anyways, having to change nights. The routine often...
It wasn't like they were both squaring off their usual night at their usual time. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. Just take it on the chin and move on. What they're doing is putting more focus on the fact that they got their ass handed to them by NXT by keep talking about it.
Because then guys like us will talk about what they're talking about. I had the thumbnail and the title ready to go today. Who's going to retire Sting? We all know it's going to be Darby. And I reached out to you. I was like, this morning I was on the toilet and I was like, oh, I saw this quote from Chris Jericho. I was like, all right, man, now we got to talk about this.
Yep. Jericho, the Ocho, Painmaker.
Right.
Best in the world at what he does. Forced their hand in this instance.
He did. He's our Mike. Look, we're trying to compete with like the Wrestle Talks, like we're trying to get those numbers. So we might have to get one of their hosts, Luke. You know what I mean? Contract.
Join us, the two of us.
Well, to join Going in Raw, sure, maybe, as a two-man. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, no.
But
I'm not gonna green light any trade.
But we're like, we're trying to compete too. So like we're gonna bring in our Shaq, aka a Chris Jericho quote. Then I can put in the title Chris Jericho blasts WWE.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did he say? Tit for tat? He say tit for tat?
No, he didn't say that in here.
Really? I swear to God, that quote I sent you, there was a tit for tat in there. Hold on a second.
Maybe it was in the synopsis of the quotes.
Oh.
What I put in here are Jericho's own words.
His own words. Okay, this is whoever wrote this thing out.
Yeah, for the messenger.
Yeah. So you think Cody, Undertaker, and Cena is tit for tat with Shaq, Snoop Dogg, and Tyson?
In the wrestling world, not so much. Although Tyson, I feel like his name really still carries weight in the wrestling world.
Yeah, maybe.
Remember DX after all.
Maybe, Shaq fought the big. Wait, they never did have that match, did they?
No, they never had their match, but Shaq was in the match with Cody, Jade's debut match.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, remember? And then Shaq just like disappeared.
Yeah, he went to the table and poof, gone. We went to an ambulance.
He went to an ambulance. That's right. Anyway, so
but then Snoop Dogg was at WrestleMania this year. He's got the best looking WWE title right now.
He's got the top tier WWE title. I think is awesome.
The all gold one. That thing's amazing.
And he single handedly saved that segment because Shane blew up
Shane
like
blew out his legs.
Just exploded.
Yeah.
It was like on a leapfrog, wasn't it?
Yeah.
God damn.
He was trying to. I think he got up for it. He was trying to do a leapfrog.
You think? Hey, let me ask you this: what are the odds, percentage wise? We're going to see any Shane McMahon appearance in the WWE in the next 3 years under Triple H.
Under Triple H?
Yeah.
Minimal.
Right, yeah.
As a percentage?
Right.
8%.
Oh, yeah. They'll probably. You think Vince is going to go in? Well, no. What, do you think Vince is ever going to go in the Hall of Fame while he's alive? Probably not, huh?
He probably has no interest in that. Vince, that is.
Especially now, he's probably got a.
He won't even let people mention him in their Hall of Fame speeches.
Yeah, there's like a writer.
Someone tells me at this stage in his life, he does not want to be the center of attention.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I kind of a true world order here. He says appearance, yes. I feel like we could see him,
like he might be sitting ringside,
or like if they do some sort of weird ceremony for something. I don't know.
Maybe, but to him actually be involved in stories, I'm not even necessarily talking about a match. Minimal.
Yeah, no,
I'm not going to say zero, but minimal. A very low number, single digit.
Zero. I'd say zero. Not going to happen. So let's talk about this. Mentioned it already. Yeah. Sting, the Stinger, the franchise, Sting Money,
the icon.
Not
NWO Sting. We're not talking about Jeff Farmer. We're talking about Sting, Steve Borden.
Correct.
Announced
his retirement
during Dynamite that he is going to wrestle his final match, and that's a sure deal, sure thing for Sting. Revolution 2024, so February is usually when Revolution happens the next year. Right. Question is, other than Darby Allin, it's the most obvious answer.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to face Sting in his final bout?
If they're smart, well, okay, yeah. It's going to be Darby. But here's the thing. There are kind of two ways you could go about this. We've actually seen this two different ways. Now, traditionally, you want to go out on your back, putting somebody else over, the Darby Allin, right? That's probably what they should do and what I think Sting will do because that's doing the honors.
Yeah.
There's another line of thought that we've seen sometimes where a good guy who is a known legend will go out on top to celebrate that legend.
For example, if they did Sting versus, let's say, a heel Nick Wayne.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Nick Wayne's at a point in his career where having a singles match with Sting is a huge deal.
Correct. Yeah.
Win or lose, massive deal.
Yeah.
So it could be a situation where Sting could get the win, celebratory event, goes out a winner on top. Nick Wayne, just by having the match since he's 18, 19 years old?
He just turned 18.
That's right. Several months ago, but just. Would be a huge deal for him just to have the match. He could take that L, and because he still has 30 years of career left in him. Mm-hmm. He'll be fine. It's not like he's, oh man, this up and coming superstar lost to Sting. It doesn't matter. He'll be fine. What they could do, kind of have it both ways. You have Sting and Darby team up, tag match against, I don't know, you could do Christian and Nick Wayne, whatever the case may be, and go that route. So,
I got another one, and I kind of like this one. You got Sting versus Christian.
Yeah.
You keep them sort of separate. They don't have a singles match. You do like a bunch of tag stuff between now and Revolution. Christian deals with this Edge bullshit because, golly, that was a boring segment last night. And then you do Christian versus Sting for the TNT title. Sting wins, and they rebrand that fucking ugly TNT logo.
Oh, it's the Sting title?
Something cool like that. Yeah.
The Icon
Sting
Championship.
Title. Boom, done right there.
The franchise.
Well, then might get Shane Douglas upset about that. But
what did he trademark? Franchise championship? He never had a personalized franchise title.
Well, they can do that now with Stings or the Icon. I like the Icon. I think that's a good one. But yeah, Icon, I think you could do something like that. Look, this is all for conversation. It's gonna be Darby, and Darby's gonna win.
It's a singles match. It's gonna be Darby. Darby goes over.
I think it'll be a single. I think this isn't gonna be like a Flair thing where like literally they have to do a tag match because he falls asleep during matches. This is gonna be, and he wants to wrestle again. I hope it's before the end of the year because that was one of my predictions. But
he said he could, but he doesn't want to.
Oh, is that what he said? I thought he said he wanted one.
There was one quote where he said that he could have another match, and then he talked to somebody else, and he says, "No, I'm not going to have another match."
Okay, all right.
So I think he wakes up one day, maybe he's feeling pretty good. Hey, I could wrestle again. Next day he wakes up not feeling as great. Yeah, I'm not going to wrestle.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it'd be great if he could still wrestle this year. I just want him to wrestle so I get one prediction right. But
predictions for entertainment purposes only. You don't win anything by getting more of them right, do you?
And no, I don't give a shit about that. I want my bragging rights, man. I want to be known as somebody who
we
gets
forget
things
about that
right.
2 months later.
No, I'll never forget about the one. What did I say? There was one I got spot on. I forgot what it was. I did a big old victory lap on that one. Anyways,
I should have done more of a victory lap when I predicted that CM Punk was going to wrestle this year. At the time, it didn't seem likely.
What, this year? Oh, well, you can do the victory lap when we do when we review our predictions at the end of the year. Yeah, that's what we.
Not a victory lap type of guy.
Yeah, it was like I don't know. What was that? I forget what it was. I don't know what it was. Anyways,
it was such a good call. It was so memorable.
Something about Daniel Bryan, I think. I forget what it was though.
Oh.
Anyways, Larson, before we continue on with our AEW review, would you like to pay some bills?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. Steve.
Yes.
Sure you're aware of this by now. There's a huge, massive fight going down this weekend. You got lightweight champ Islam Makhachev taking on featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski this Saturday at UFC 295 for the lightweight championship. Massive fight.
Yeah, that's hype, man. No matter who you got winning, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing epic action to you. New customers can bet just $5 to land $200 instantly in bonus bets.
That's right, Steve. And I've got the DraftKings Sportsbook app right here in front of me right now. And it looks like they've been updating the lines for the massive main event fight, as well as the rest of the card. Yes, I can confirm we got some updated betting lines and odds here.
Oh, man.
So what are you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code RAW. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's code RAW only on DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. Terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Pride, I'm really trying to do the Micro Machines thing at this point.
You're getting there. You're close.
I need a little bit more, a little quicker.
Close. It's close. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
This was completely and totally expected. I think we all know what the outcome's going to be, but nonetheless, Juice Robinson won the Battle Royal in the main event.
He did.
Despite getting kicked in the front area by Dustin after fun. MJF paid him $100 to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So he's facing MJF for that Dynamite Diamond Ring next week in Philadelphia on Dynamite. We all know the outcome's going to be MJF getting the win.
That should be a good one. He's really intent on making this dude bloody.
Oh, this should be a really violent match, yes.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
To up the odds, to up the stakes, I guess. Is there any chance they should retire this Dynamite Diamond Ring, have Juice win due to shenanigans, take the ring, and then do a vignette where they go and pawn it?
They go pawn it, and then he gets another gold tooth, or they pay for a vacation or something like that.
Yeah. Right now, like, it's MJF's thing is the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Yeah, if he retains, it's 5 years in a row.
Would it be a more effective story beat for him especially now that he's a good guy? And if he leaves AEW, if his contract is actually up, he'll be a good guy until he leaves, because that's only a couple months away, I think. Yeah. Depending on, who knows what his contract status is like, but he has
when
said
exactly in 2024.
Right, he has said that it's 2024. He's on a great run as a good guy. They have him doing like the anti, Jewish hate stuff and all that. Is the Dynamite Diamond Ring something that his character can shed if it makes for an interesting story moment, and then AEW just can get rid of it, or just bring it back next year? It's like, whatever, they want to do a thing.
I'll say this. I don't anticipate MJF losing to Juice Robinson.
Same.
It's not going to happen. I still think there is some interesting stuff they could do with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I know MJF is a babyface now, but there's always the kind of tug of war at times within him. He'll lean on some heel tendencies when he has to, especially to win matches. And to see him implement the Dynamite Diamond Ring to win as a babyface could be interesting. And we don't know. I know we're a long ways out from having another match with Adam Cole, and who knows if MJF will even still be with the company when Cole is cleared after breaking his ankle. I can't imagine having a rematch between the two of them for the title without that ring being involved.
I like that in the past, since he's been aligned with Cole, they've used it as kind of the devil on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I'm about to revert to my old ways here. Let me get this thing out. I just wonder if now would be an issue. Now, my main issue with it is him taking an L before he goes into full gear. That's silly. That shouldn't happen.
No.
I'm never a fan of that when it comes to a champion. But because then Juice will be like the lineal AEW world champion if he beats MJF. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking it's not a terrible time to sort of get rid of that, but it also is the symbolism of the Dynamite Diamond Ring is pretty thick, and I think they can still get more stuff out of it. Now he's got Wardlow, Kenny Omega, and Jay White. Am I missing anybody? Did
Samoa
anybody
Joe.
else? Oh, and then Samoa Joe's still out there. That's right.
Yeah.
So he's got like what, 4 people coming after his
At
title.
least. Yeah.
And I like that. The title should, I mean, that's one thing that I'm glad AEW is waking up to. The title should mean everything. And that's sort of the story right now is Jay White stealing it. And MJF this week said, you're no different than a cosplayer at New York Comic-Con walking around with a fake title.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like that they're trying to make that title mean something, especially because like at the last pay-per-view, he was defending the Ring of Honor tag titles in a goofy match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does it seem like they are lining up? What do you think the storyline reason for this is to line up so many people? Is it, oh man, like he doesn't have his friend anymore, so let's explore what it's like to have everybody coming after him. When you're a good guy, generally you're sort of on the defense. When you're a bad guy, you're on the offense. Right, exactly.
You're a good guy, you got to be facing the odds. The odds got to be stacked against you. Yeah, totally. I think that's part of it. And I hope it's a real effort on AEW's part to make the title seem wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Not just by the person who's won it and is holding it, by others in the company. That should be the goal.
Yeah.
You should wrestle to become champion.
Yeah.
Sure, making money is great. But, you know, from a competitive standpoint, you wrestle to win, you wrestle to be champion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that should be people's goal is it the world title, TNT, you know, whatever the case may be. You got to go after gold if you want to be considered a success in the wrestling world, kayfabe wise, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, it just makes sense that there would be several people aiming to take down the champ and win the title for themselves. That should be the case. That just seems like a natural thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it when I saw, I mean, Wardlow's a bad guy now.
Yes.
Which is kind of an interesting, last time they met, obviously MJF, bad guy, Wardlow, good guy.
Are they going to do the thing where Wardlow's going to, when he finally talked and say, MJF, I was riding high. It was supposed to be this huge moment in my career. And then showed a meet and greet and you've ruined everything. Is that going to be the angle they're going to take with that?
So I think it's like a 70% possibility they'll do that. I don't like that shit because it's like, okay, well, if I'm not reading Fightful Select, I don't know what's happening here.
Exactly.
Like, what is that? Like they did. I'm sorry, I watched that match. He beat him with a power bomb. He tried to get out wasn't the most compelling thing. If I'm saying I'm somebody who does not pay attention to the backstage bullshit,
the backstage stuff, totally.
Then I'm watching that. I watched that match. Wardlow won, and then MJF sort of disappeared.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah.
We should be upset with who decided to put him in a storyline with Mark Sterling over a lawsuit. That's who Wardlow should be angry with.
Yeah, yeah. And then I found myself in a lawsuit angle, and MJ was like, "I don't have anything to do with that. I was gone. I left."
That's not my doing. I was gone. I told my boss he can go fuck himself in a promo, and then I left for a while.
Called him a money mark.
So.
Yeah, like the sudden Wardlow. It'll be interesting to see if they have him talk. Wardlow, they ruined him as a good guy. I loved, he was so good under the thumb of MJF. And there really was no what's next for Wardlow. It was the lawsuit bullshit. I think I could have forgiven the paint by numbers aspect of that last match with MJF if they had given him something interesting to do after the fact. But, he said, I don't want the world title. I want the TNT one. What?
No, you should want the world title, man. As I just said.
Yeah, everybody should want that.
Why aim for a secondary title when you could aim for the top title?
Mm-hmm, yeah. So hopefully a bad guy Wardlow will maybe have something. You and I always say it's more interesting if you're a bad guy, or you have more opportunities to be interesting if you're a bad guy, I should say. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how this is going to play out. Wardlow he's never been good on the microphone. And I hope that MJF, how do I put this? We talked about this last time with Edge and Ricky Starks. MJF could really bury the shit out of Wardlow with one promo.
Yeah.
He really could. And I hope that they have MJF sell Wardlow more than, just like, man, they really dropped the ball with you, bud. Like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one thing just to say that, but if you preface it with, look at what you did. You know, you had your record was this. You ran through everybody on your way to beating me. You're a three-time TNT champion. Like what MJF is usually pretty good at is listing off someone's accolades and then goes for that line.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
he could say all that, and it's like, but look at you now.
Yeah.
When did you drop the ball, Wardlow? So you build them up for the crowd, for the audience. Oh yes, Wardlow was incredibly over. Yes, he has won accolades here. And then you bring it back around to the story you want to tell now, rather than just saying, "Oh, hey, look at you now. What a shitty position you're in here."
Yeah,
A couple
but
years later,
the thing is,
that's not like MJF style though.
even with the accolades, like still, everybody knows. We all know that they dropped the ball with Wardlow. We all know that they've tried a million times with him. So it'll be interesting to see how you make Wardlow into, I don't know, a believable, relatable, but also bad guy threat to MJF, because that's what you want. You know, you want somebody who the crowd is invested in, and the crowd has not been invested in Wardlow for a while. So we'll see how that works out. I wanted to point out here before we continue, AJ Otani gifted a membership to the community. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Also, AJ has a super chat. Says everybody knows Miz led Snoop through the ending. Yeah, but the fact that Snoop did all that without hesitation, without we give Snoop so much credit for that.
Oh, heck yeah.
I don't give
so
somebody
easy that
okay, Steve, go ahead and do this. What? I want to go away now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's easy to freeze under the bright lights in a pressure-filled situation like that and to just roll with it.
So smoothly.
That's not easy to do. So, yeah. Hats off to Snoop Dogg for making that feel relatively seamless after Shane destroyed his legs.
Blew up there. Corey with
double
super
quad
chat
blow.
says, they need Baron Corbin for Sting's retirement match.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, well, him versus Kurt Angle, wasn't that did Kurt Angle win that one or what?
No, Kurt Angle lost that one.
Okay, he lost that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no. Kurt Angle didn't want that match. He wanted to face John Cena.
Yeah, I know. He should have. That's what they should have done.
I know. Bringing things full circle. Hey. I haven't checked the numbers lately today, but I know we are on the road. We're on the path. Our goal is 198,891 subscribers. We want to get there.
Yeah.
Where are we? We're chipping away. We're getting close.
Yeah.
Getting close. 644 if my math is correct here.
We're asking for your help.
We are. We have 464 people watching right now. If each and every one of you who haven't subscribed, we'll get that much closer to 198,891. We're trying to get there. Please help us. Please help us. Also, we got 467 people watching right now. If you like what you see, you're here. I hope you do like what you see.
Me too.
Hit that like button.
Please do.
If every single one of you hit that like button, we'll get well over 400 likes, and that's great. Ending the show.
Children will be happy. Children will be happy.
Yes. We like ending the show with 200 likes. It's a good number. Makes us feel good.
Makes me feel good.
Please help us feel
right
good.
Here in my lungs. Makes me feel good right here in my lungs. I like this comment here. This is so rude, but I brought it upon myself. Josh Smith says, long-time Going in Raw podcast listener, but first time viewing a live show recording. Steve really does look like a fat John Cena. You know, that's weird. Like, I wonder, like, because like our pictures are on the podcast thing, but if somebody isn't paying attention to that, it's really small.
Like, you're looking at your phone, it's like the size of a penny,
Right, it's really tiny,
small, you can't tell.
So I like that somebody's like, oh man, like they're exposed to like our weird faces for the first. I remember one time like somebody said they're like, man, I thought you guys would have been like opposites, like my voice out of your face and then vice versa.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that even like you come off like an unfiltered snarky kind of prick. I look like somebody. I'm like, no, the guy who's more the intellectualist of the two of us, number one dad right there with the mug, of course, looks like the professor or the guy who discovered Atlantis.
There you go.
Yes. A fantasy movie.
Yes, exactly. Might have been a professor in the movie.
You would think
professor of marine biology discovered Atlantis.
Some dullard who stumbled upon Atlantis. Oh, man. Anyways, so the MJF Kenny Omega stuff. He said 13 days. That's got to be soon. Like, Kenny's going to try to stop that soon, right?
So they're both advertised for the October 28th edition of Collision. That's 3 days before MJF would either tie or break Kenny's record for longest reign. So right now they're just both advertised for the show, not necessarily for a match. But I wouldn't be surprised there's a promo thing to begin the show, and they're like, all right, we're going to have this match tonight.
Yeah.
So Kenny can try to protect his record.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, if you want to draw eyeballs to Collision, that's how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. That could be, boy, that's a
a pay-per-view level match.
That's a big match. You hear Jeff Jarrett and Eddie Kingston are having a
Memphis street fight
for the New Japan Strong title.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And if Jeff Jarrett wins that, then Jay Lethal gets his shot at the Ring of Honor
title. Yeah.
Larson. Usually these kind of stipulation matches, like, are they going to do a thing where Jeff Jarrett wins by DQ? And so
it's a Memphis street fight. There's no disqualification.
No, it's a Memphis street fight. That's right. Are we looking at a New Japan professional wrestling champion?
Not at all. There's just Jeff Jarrett's going to lose, and then Jay Lethal's like, "Why couldn't he get the job done?" There's going to be tension between Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Don't do that. I don't like that. That's not good.
That's what's going to happen.
Oh, all respect. Josh Smith here says, meant no disrespect, Steve. You guys are awesome. Love the show. Now, here's the thing. I call myself Fat John Cena all the time. So it's totally cool if somebody wants to say, oh, wow, you really do look like what you said you look like.
Yeah.
No disrespect was taken.
No.
And we're so glad to have you. In fact, Blind Mass just gifted a membership to Josh Smith for the community. If you want, hey, and here's the thing. Now, Josh Smith, with that membership, can participate in our predictions challenge. We got one coming up for the Saudi Arabia show, and then we've got one coming up for the Full Gear / Week of
Champions 3.
Yeah, that's right. Week of Champions 3, Survivor Series. That's right. That's coming up. Bonus episodes. We're going to do one of those tomorrow. And then we also have got question threads for all of our shows. So that's what you get if you're a patron, patreon.com/Stephen Larson, or a channel member. Just click join. It's a great way to help support Going In Raw. Dynamite opened with Penta Cero Miedo versus Jay White from the Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah,
this was a really good match right here. Yeah, this was really good.
It was a really good match. It had a ton of time, a lot of good back and forth. In the end, though, so Penta's looking for a super kick. Jay White catches it, hits him with a dragon screw, follows the sleeper suplex. Is looking for a Blade Runner. Penta blocks that, hits a Made in Japan. What a great move. I love that move.
It is a great move.
Jay kicks out of that, so Penta's calling for the fear factor. Guns get on the apron, distract the ref. That allows Juice Robinson to get on the apron and punch. Sorry, he's a lefty, left-handed. Whoop-ha. Penta. Jay follows with the Blade Runner to get the win. So then Jay grabs the mic, says, cut my music. Hey, shh. I like his attempts to quiet the crowd, just makes them boo louder. It's great. Because they're chanting, you suck. And he goes, no. You know who sucks? It's MJF. Because where is he? He's not here. You know who is here? J-A-Y, because J-A-Y, unlike MJF, I'm a real world champion. I'm a truly elite world champion. And Max, I'm still waiting for your answer to my generous offer. I assume that's why you're taking so long, because you can't find anybody to team with you to take us on to try to get back the Bang Bang belt. Max, you can always pay off your Gimp squad again, but if not, tough luck, pal. But until then, I'll lead by example. Then he hands the mic off to Juice Robinson.
And Juice, before we get here with Juice's stuff, I just want to point out Matthew from Botchamania sitting right here in our Twitch chat, eating some popcorn, watching the show. Says, referring to Fat John Cena over here, says, you're the Cena they include in the 2K games when the license expires. I'm Enforcer Cena. Remember when they did with Mike Tyson? He's just the Enforcer. It's like this.
The Enforcer, I know.
Does not look like Tyson at all, which was the point. Anyway, so Juice says, spoiler alert. Tonight in your main event, the Stray Bullet's going to win the Dynamite Diamond Douchebag Battle Royal, baby. And after I throw 11 people over the top rope and win the right to face MJF in Philly for a stupid ring, and mine is much better from TJ Maxx for $24.99, made of pubic zirconia. I'm going to knock him out, and we're taking the ring, and we're going to pawn it, and I promise you I'm getting another gold tooth. And then Austin grabs the mic and says that if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Guns up, Larson. There we go. Well, close enough.
Close enough.
You got to hit him on the side there. No, other way. There you go.
All right, I know what I got to do. It's this. Look at that. It's automatic now.
Look, boom.
Automatic. Gotta stick my thumb right here on my desk.
Oh no, Matthew says you're both lovely to listen to and look at while I'm dying with flu.
Oh no.
He says take care and keep up the juice impressions. Thanks for hanging out, Matthew, man. We love you.
Hope you're doing all right. Hang in there, man. Hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, dude.
After that, we had MJF interview with Renee. She's asked. It's funny because Jay White just says MJF isn't there. I guess he meant out in the ringside area because he was there. He was backstage. So Renee asks, what was your reaction to what Bang Bang Gang just said? And MJF says, I could run out there like every single dumb good guy in the history of pro wrestling and get my ass handed me in a 401 beatdown. But lucky for me, I'm not a good guy, Renee. I'm a scumbag. Plus, Daddy's doing commentary tonight for the Dynamite Does in Battle Royal, and Lord knows I'm not wasting my entrance pop right here in Texas. Jay White, I'll get my Triple B back before Full Gear. You know what's funny? I was just over at New York Comic Con. I couldn't help but notice that so many people reminded me of you. So many frail little losers wearing belts cosplaying as world champions. Juice Robinson, I pray to God that you win tonight in the main event, because if you do, next week in Philadelphia, it'll be your left hand of God versus the right hand of the devil. When I connect, there'll be blood, but that blood won't be on my hands, Juice. It'll be on the hands of your boy, Switchblade Jay White. So Renee asked for an update on Adam Cole, and right as MJF's about to answer, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn stepped in. Mm-hmm. And Caster says, hi, Renee. Max, look, if you want your title back from Jay, listen, they said it, an 8-man tag, us three, you, we'll get all the belts, and we'll scissor after we win. And MJF goes, we're going to scissor, huh? How about no? So Caster replies, okay, if you're going to be like that, how about we join in the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal tonight? I'll win that next week. I'll win that ring. You're going to have to put a ring on it. So MJF walks off, and Bowens tells Caster, hey, we told you, less is more. And then Billy says, MJF is such a scumbag. And Caster just says, yeah, but he's my scumbag.
He's my scumbag. People are going to pop big when they scissor in the middle of that
They
ring,
are.
man. I tell you what.
Pretty huge.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty funny stuff. After that, we had a nice little video package for Emi Sakura versus Hikaru Shida. That match happened next. Man, oh man, this match
great.
Was great. It was awesome.
They should have cut that superfluous, long, boring Adam Copeland interview and gave Emi and Hikaru 6 more minutes, because that'd have been awesome.
Oh man, that guy just likes to sound.
That shit was like pulling teeth, man. He took 6 minutes to say, I'm not fighting Christian.
I hate saying this because he legitimately does seem like a nice guy, but I don't need to see a nice guy on my TV.
No.
He took forever to say, because she didn't even ask him. She says, okay, so what's next for you, Adam Copeland? And he said, well, I'm not fighting Christian. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. This match was absolutely phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. We'll get this point off, and we'll spend 5 minutes talking about this match. This match was great. I'm so tired of wrestling interviews where the interviewer just says, hey, insert wrestler's name. What's next for you?
So this is the thing about that. So look, go watch the Emi Sakura Hikaru Shida match. It really was
fantastic.
Great.
Well, we will talk about that, I swear. No,
we're talking about it right now, and then we're going to, because let's do this in order. So no, this match was absolutely great. It's great to see Emi Sakura on cable TV. I know she might have Rampage matches. I don't watch that. But this was awesome. There was a sign in the crowd that said "More women, please," which yes, I agree with that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially with matches like this. In the end, so Emi runs into a backbreaker. She responds with one of her own. Shida then hits a punch, a Falcon Arrow. Emi kicks out of that, and then another katana by Hikaru Shida for the win.
Because earlier, Shida hit a katana, and Emi kicked out at 1.
Yeah, that was rad.
This was great. Emi could do her running crossbodies into things all day.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, no, she's
when she does
terrific.
it to the barricade, great. When she hits one into the ring steps, it's great. Into the corner, great. When she knocks people off the apron with it, great.
Yeah, no, she's
great.
More of this stuff.
This was fantastic. Go watch it. They went to the backstory of Emi. It was one of Shida's trainers. Mm-hmm. And they said, I think they've wrestled 10 times, and Emi's record was 8-2. Mm-hmm. Fantastic stuff. I thought it was a match of the night for me. This was so good.
Oh, I agree.
It was hard hitting. The pace was fantastic. The story was really good. Having Emi kick out of Shida's finisher at a 1 was great.
Yeah,
it was fantastic. Go watch this match.
It was either this or it was Lance Archer versus that one dude. Anyways, I was joking. So this was my main takeaway from this fucking. Now they hyped it up. I knew from the moment I saw the card that said the rated R rebuttal. Come on. Oh, really?
How can this be the rated R rebuttal when it seemed like he just got up from a nap? Like, there was no energy. There was no intensity.
Dude,
there was resignation. That's what this was.
I know.
Essentially, it's like, Christian jealous. I'm in a pickle because I'm not going to fight him. That's what this was.
When he started talking about meeting him in high school or grade school or whatever.
Yeah, in sixth grade.
Sixth grade. I was like, no, stop. I know. We all know you have history. We've seen pictures of you guys as kids. We know.
Said ad nauseum they've been friends for 40 years.
We've heard this a million times. That's great. Like every once in a while, Larson will talk about astronomy class from 1996. We don't talk about it all the damn time.
No.
Y'all just understand the way we bicker with each other and we laugh and we finish each other's sentences. We know each other for a long damn time.
Yeah.
You know, but like, you don't need to talk about it all the time.
No.
At one point, deep into him talking, you look at Renee and you know when like you're at like a gathering of some sort, social situation, party, whatever, and you're watching like a guy and a girl talking and one of the party is talking way too much and the other one is like, yeah. Just seeing if there's anything else going on and if anything can maybe pull them the fuck away from this conversation. She had that vibe. She's the interviewer and she's supposed to be like super engaged, but she couldn't help but just be like, yeah. Oh, God. And you start getting anxious a little bit. You're like, I just need to get out of this situation. My social meter is just dying right now.
Yeah.
That's how I felt during this thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so long.
Edge is entering energy vampire territory.
He is. He's a Colin Robinson. And it sucks because I really he seems like a good guy. I mean, that's just sort of, I guess the crux of it is that you get a CM Punk who I loved his work on the show Collision, but then you just hear that he's kind of crappy backstage. Well, I think this is the opposite. It's like Edge is on TV and I'm like, I don't care.
You know what Edge is? Backstage. Edge really is the Pearl Jam of wrestling. He's settled in the middle age and is kind of mediocre and boring at this juncture.
Yeah. Oh, he was releasing bangers in '98.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm sure he seems like a decent fellow. And hats off to him. There's so many people in the pro wrestling world that come out of it at his age that seemed like crusty and bitter and resentful and angry.
Yeah.
He seemingly, entered the twilight of his career at a good place, and he seems to be happy and a decent fellow. Yeah. That hasn't necessarily informed the work in a way that's meaningful or engaging or important right now. Nothing that he's doing right now feels vital. It sucks to say because we made a whole video about the neat things he has done in his career.
So many. This is not
when
one
in the aughts, he seemed important and vital to the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Those days are done.
Yeah. Dude, I saw on social media, speaking of Pearl Jam, it's been 10 years since Lightning Bolt came out. Wow. And somebody was asking Eddie like what his favorite song on Lightning Bolt was, and all Eddie could muster was it's sort of like asking what your favorite child is. You can't really say.
He doesn't remember a song on the album.
He doesn't remember a single song on that fucking album.
They might play a song from that album once per live set. Maybe.
Yellow Ledbetter every fucking time.
But that you get Alive, you get Even Flow, you get those every show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You get
probably
one song
Go,
from Yeah. So, I've said this before. I was hoping, and it was foolish of me to hope this, that with a change of scenery, it could like light a fire under Edge a little bit. It's like, all right, I'm in a position now where I have freedom. Mm-hmm. I could tell the stories I want to tell. And I can approach those stories in the way I want to. Well, apparently his approach is just, like 2000s Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
A steady stream of mid-tempo rockers.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
And that's all it is. And there's just nothing really interesting or engaging. Yeah, you could tap your foot to it and like, okay, this has got a decent enough little melody. As soon as it's over, you forget it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And sometimes you have to sit through an hour of it. You're like, all right, when they can do something interesting, or at least something that brings out nostalgia, when they going to push their limits, challenge themselves. And it might not always work, but at least they're challenging themselves. It seems like they're invested in their work, or at least, hey, reinvent one of your old songs. Yeah. Something.
Yeah, dude, he's just too normal guy. He's just too like I'm fed. I'm good. And he tells a story about like, when I first started talking to Tony, I talked to Christian a while ago about coming in and working together, and he seemed really into it. And then the closer it got, the less he would say anything about it. And it's like, how does that fit into what Christian is doing now as a character. Why would that character that we see now have been into that? Like, what's his side of that conversation?
Yeah.
Luckily with Christian, we just get awesome stuff like go fuck yourself and you should have picked up the phone like we got at the thing on Dynamite this week.
Time to go home, son.
It's time to go home, son. And he recognizes that he's doing good stuff. And it's like, I understand that this is building to an Edge versus Christian match. They're doing the thing where Edge doesn't want to fight his best friend, but he's going to be forced into it. And it's so like there. And it kind of interrupts this really good run that Christian is on right now.
I know. They have to shoehorn this Edge thing into what Christian's been doing for the last couple months with Sting and Darby and Nick Wayne, which has been interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now they got to shoehorn Edge into there.
And as soon as he says, I'm not going to fight him, okay, you're going to.
Well, of course they're going to fight. That's once Christian told him to go fuck himself, of course they're going to have a match. Mm-hmm. And of course, in a year, they're going to reunite. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be 2 years. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to happen.
The reunion's going to be, when they're actually on the same page, it's probably going to be really good. They're really good together. They have amazing chemistry.
Because Christian brings out the best in Adam Copeland.
That's true.
Though the next year, until they reunite, we've already seen it. We're going to see, and I said this before, we're going to see Christian run laps.
Oh, yeah.
Around mediocre, boring face Adam Copeland here.
Yeah.
Just from a creativity standpoint, from doing stuff that's interesting. It feels vital to the to wrestling storytelling. Yeah. Christian's going to be running laps around him.
Yeah.
And they're going to reunite, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be nostalgic. But at the same time, part of me is just be like, all right, Christian, turn on him. Turn on him.
Yeah.
Because what Christian is doing now is so entertaining. Mm-hmm. That, yes, we're getting fun, nostalgia stuff, some comedy bits with him and Edge, but gosh, it's not going to feel as exciting and as vital as what we get now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, I agree. So after that, we had, so he says, I don't want the TNT title. He says, I know that eventually Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus are going to leave him high and dry. And when he hits the ground, I'll be there to pick him up, which is all very condescending as well.
It really is.
It's like, if Larson wants to go off and be an asshole, then he's going to learn his own lessons. And then we'll see from there. But if you're acting like a piece of crap, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to have his back. You're acting like a piece of crap. You got to sleep in your own bed, pal.
Exactly.
I don't know why I just threw that on you, but it could be the other way around. I don't know.
Well, I mean, as an example, I didn't take offense to it.
All right. Well, I'm just making sure. So you might Photoshop some boogers in my nose. Wardlow versus Ryan Nemeth was next. Of course, that was just.
I don't know if anybody's seen a wrestler grab their opponent by the head, force him into powerbomb position, and then successfully powerbomb.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's just usually the person just goes like this.
Yeah, I know. Or they've taken moves before that leads to powerbomb that makes them capable of fighting off powerbomb.
Yeah.
But this is literally Wardlow grabbing Nemeth by the face, forcing him into powerbomb position, and then hitting powerbomb. Yeah. And it only took one. Ref call for the bell after one.
Yeah, he stopped it. He was like, oh, man, this thing's
I see where this is going.
Yeah, nowhere good. So then Wardlow leaves, but Shivani calls him back to the ring. He wants an interview. He says, what are you back for? It's so I don't know. Some of the production just needs to be a little bit more well thought out because Wardlow holds up his arm and he's trying to it says MJF. He's written MJF on his wrist tape and he's holding up, but he doesn't do something cool like this where it's written so that it's in line with what the camera's seeing and we see it. It's written this way. So he's
on the wrist. Yeah.
And so Shivani has to say, oh, it says MJF. Interesting, yes. And then Wardlow kind of shoulder checks him gently on the way out. And so Shivani does a pratfall.
Oh, he does a full bump, yeah.
And at that point, people are like, oh, God, old man fell. This guy's a bad guy because otherwise nobody, he wouldn't make an old man fall otherwise.
Exactly.
So he's a bad guy now.
Bad guy now. And then we had Kenny Omega interview. Renee asked him how he's feeling going to his match against Kyle Fletcher. He says, this year has been a pretty rough one. Don't remind me of my win-loss record. But Kyle, thank you for reminding me of who I am. I'm the measuring stick here at AEW. If you want to prove you're the best, you got to take on Kenny Omega. Kyle, first it's going to be you. Then it's going to be the Don Callis family. And after that, maybe we'll see Kenny Omega, the Kenny Omega of old, targeting the AEW championship again. This brings in MJF. And he says, Kenny Omega, measuring stick, AEW champion, MJF. Just want you to know that I've always admired you. I've always been a massive fan of you. And Kenny thanks him. MJF adds, just want to say, I'd love to shake your hand. So MJF extends his hand. Kenny shakes it. And then MJF leans in and says into Kenny's ear, 13 days, bitch. And then walks off. They did the same kind of bit on Being the Elite like a week ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was funny.
And so Kenny goes, 13 days, huh? We'll see about that.
Yeah, you know what? At least the production on this was really well done. Like, you know, the camera went in close, he leaned into him, and you could hear what he said. Sometimes AEW can't figure that shit out. Yeah. This was funny. Afterwards, we had Adam Cole at Roderick Strong's house, still there, and it kicks off with Bennett on some what are they, bongos? I think they are. Yeah. And he does his own variation of Trapped Headstrong, which is Neck Strong. Neck Strong, take you on. I did not expect that. I thought that was
take on anyone. Yeah.
I thought that shit was hilarious. And so more goofy shenanigans. Cole brings Roddy some coffee. Roderick Strong spits it out. He's like, Adam, I thought I told you. I hate hot coffee. So Cole says, you know what, man? I'm out of here. This sucks. He's like, Adam, I'm sorry. But you know what? Remember when you were just breaking in? I'm craving one of your famous PB&J sandwiches. And Cole's like, oh, okay, all right. So he makes one, and they do this whole, like, you know, semi-pornographic making of peanut butter and jelly sandwich where everybody looks like they're nutting over this thing. And so he makes it. And so he gives it to him and takes a bite. He goes, Adam, you know I hate crust. And the Kingdom guy's like, yeah, didn't you know that? And he says, okay, I'm done. I haven't talked to Max in weeks, and I need surgery. And then Cole leaves, and Roddy's like, Adam, Cole leaves. He's gone. And he says,
the door closed. He's gone. Yeah.
Right. He says, Roderick Strong says to the Kingdom guys, says, I know what I have to do to get my best friend back. I have to be nice to that scumbag. So I guess Roderick Strong is now going to.
Is Roderick Strong and the Kingdom going to be MJF's 3 against Bang Bang Gang?
Oh, there you go. That could be. And then they turn on him or something, and the Acclaim come in to help MJF up off the floor.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go. You learn the lesson that, hey, man, somebody's trying to be nice to you. You got to accept that into your life.
Exactly. Then we had a Don Callis family interview. Shivani introduces them to the ring. Don, Will Hobbs, Takesh to come. Callis says, I've got something to say. Last week, the Callis family made history because in over 30 years of one of the greatest careers of all time, Chris Jericho has never been manhandled like he was last week, because last week, Will Hobbs broke Jericho in half. Tell him, Will. So Will Hobbs then tells a story about how on February 22nd in 1998, says it was supposed to be the greatest day of my life. I had a chance to meet my hero, Chris Jericho. My grandmother, the woman who raised me, got me front row tickets to meet you. And what did you do, Chris? You walked up to that lady and told her to shut up, and looked at me and told me to sit my ass down. 25 years ago, Chris, a 7-year-old child. But I swore, Chris, that day that I would look you dead in your eye and I was going to hurt you over and over and over and over and over. And as I looked at you, Chris, you were lifeless. And what did I do? I picked your ass up and gave you spine buster after spine buster after spine buster, and I loved it.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I'll just pause there really quick. Whenever Hobbs has the mic, he kills it. He really does. Like I don't the justification for the Jericho stuff has been on the goofy side. I was a kid and you said I was rude, and you were rude to me rather. But you know, he's got the voice, he's got the conviction,
he's got the presence.
He's got the presence. I love this dude so much. I think he's great. So Callis says, all his life, Will Hobbs was told by people who supposedly love him to bottle up the hate, bottle up the violence. But now Will has a new family, and we don't tell him to bottle it up. We tell you to be what you are, and what Will Hobbs is 6'3", 275-pound killing machine. We're not done with Chris Jericho. We're not done with any of it. We're going to unleash Will Hobbs in AEW because the Callis family's on a roll. We're undefeated in 4 months, except for one match where Sammy Guevara was hurt by Jericho, and I had to get a replacement and get a scab worker as a replacement. I had to get Kyle Fletcher. As great as an athlete he is, he let us down. Kyle screwed the Callis family. So that brings out Kyle Fletcher. He gets in his face. Hobbs gets between them. Callis says, no, I want to hear this. So Kyle grabs the mic and says, as far as I recall, I did that match for you as a favor after Will Ospreay called me saying, Don Callis is on his knees begging me to do this match. Maybe I was the weakest link in that match, but tonight I got another chance against Omega, and tonight I'm going to prove to everybody and you that I don't need anybody's help to beat Kenny Omega. Callis says, I like the confidence. You beat Kenny, and you and I may have an opportunity to discuss next week. Well, he didn't beat Kenny Omega. He succumbed to the One-Winged Angel. That match was next.
Yeah, the first 3 matches, I believe, of the night all started the same way, where one of the competitors attacked the other competitor during their entrance.
Yeah.
I know it's a common theme last night on Dynamite.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do the thing where they didn't do like repetitive like things.
Well, I guess Lance Archer did too. He literally booted his opponent down to the ring.
He did, yeah.
I think the only match that didn't start that way was the Battle Royal. Yeah, that was the only match on the show. This match was a lot of fun. You know, Kyle Fletcher is what, 24?
Yeah, man.
He's already really good.
Yeah, heck of a wrestler.
Yeah, and it seems like he's set for some sort of babyface run, considering he lost the match. He's probably going to get attacked by the Callis family next week. Maybe even Kenny Omega will come out and help make the save. Who knows? Really fun match, though. Down towards the end, Kenny hits a V-trigger, like the second or third of the match. Calls for the One-Winged Angel. Fletcher counters with a Dragon Sleeper, but Kenny reverses that into a roll-up. Fletcher kicks out. Fletcher's looking for the Tombstone. Kenny escapes, hits a Snapdragon. Fletcher responds with a super kick, and then Kenny hits him with another V-trigger. One-Winged Angel to get the win.
Yeah, really good match.
Yeah, it was really good.
After that, we had one of those new Danhausen video packages.
Love that Danhausen.
And then we had Lance Archer versus Barrett Brown. But again, this was just, Lance Archer boots Brown down the ramp during the entrance. Looks for a suicide dive, but Archer catches him, choke slams him on the apron, suplex, bunch of back elbows, puts Brown up on the top rope. Brown tries to fight back. Archer hits a step-up knee.
That step-up knee was awesome.
Yeah, I know. It was really cool. Archer's awesome, man.
Yeah, like Archer's so much fun to watch in the ring.
He is.
He's so much fun.
Yeah. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Then he hits a blackout, and Barry Brown gets the loss here. So, yeah, man, Lance Archer's cool. Do something with him.
I know. There's so many wrestlers on the roster that are super cool. You could be doing something with.
Yeah.
So then we got a Swerve Strickland Prince Nana promo. Nana says, just like that, boss, everything you've been talking about, everything over the last couple of months comes to this place here, the graffiti spot in Houston, Texas. Some of the top rappers have been here, and now you get to release and debut the Big Pressure remix. What an exciting time. And Swerve says, it is an exciting time. I should be excited. Why am I not? You know why? Because right now I should be celebrating my music video along with being the TNT champ. There's one reason why I'm not, because of you, Hangman Page. Like I said, it wasn't a personal thing. It wasn't a thing about Hangman Page. It was Swerve versus the opportunity. It was Swerve versus the spot. But now it's Swerve versus Hangman Page, and it's personal. You couldn't leave well enough alone after I beat you at Wrestle Dream, huh? You don't want to go to war with somebody who gives less of a damn than you do, and nobody cares less about life than me. Just remember this. It's not always you that pays the price for your actions.
So who is he going to attack?
We're the closest to Hangman.
Kenneth Omega during the MJF match?
Maybe. Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise known as the Young Bucks.
That's correct. That's their tag team name, yeah.
Probably not Dark Order, though.
Don't say their name. Might be a Joe Hendry thing where they're just
say their name.
Don't do that.
They appear.
I don't. Maybe they just put them on Rampage. I don't know. I'm happy without those silly promos of theirs. They just dropped that shit, huh?
Yeah, they did.
Unless maybe it's on Ring of Honor or
it could be on Ring of Honor or Rampage.
Or Rampage, yeah. After that, this was great, man. And maybe it's just the it factor. Maybe it's just the charisma. I don't know what. But when Edge comes out and does the typical old man wrestler thing, I fall asleep. When Sting does it, I love it. I love it so much.
This is what it is. This is what seems like the difference is to me. Sting's comfortable with Sting. I feel like Edge still feels like he wants to prove that he's important and vital and means something to the wrestling world.
Interesting. Okay.
That's what it feels like. Because, like, for example, the backstage interview, the sit-down interview with Renee. It wasn't the same setup like we saw with JR. It wasn't brightly lit. It was dimly lit. It was, he was looking for an atmosphere to it. And you look at a lot of it. He did the same thing in WWE where he'd do looked like he was sitting in a broom closet with the single light bulb over his head doing the promo because he wanted to be dramatic. And feel meaningful and weighty, even though he'd spend 18 minutes saying one thing. Yeah. Sting doesn't do that. He comes out. He knows who Sting is. He's comfortable with who Sting is and knows how to deliver a promo through the voice of Sting that people naturally just be into.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you might be onto something. I can't put my... I
feel like Adam Copeland tries too hard. I think that's the thing.
Sting is just so much cooler.
Well, he
and
is.
part of it might be like because nobody who tries to be cool is actually cool. It doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
And Sting, he's like, dude, he has like the crow makeup on. But he's just cool.
Yeah.
He's like 64, whatever, 63 years, however old he is.
I think he'd be 65.
Yeah. But goddamn, he's cool, man. And like I could listen to him talk about old shit all day long. And he's got that rapport with fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like he responds to them. So he comes to the ring, hugs Shivani, says, I can remember about 30 some years ago, the first time I ever did that to the crowd, because he goes, woo. And they wooed back. Now, immediately, if this was Edge, again, seems like a nice guy. If this was Edge, I'd be bored immediately if he said the phrase 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Sting does it. I'm like, yeah, tell me about 1993, dude.
Yeah.
He says, I couldn't believe it. All these years later, here I am. Well, shall I say the word? Before I say the word, I want to reflect a little bit with all of you because that word makes me want to reflect. It makes me think about all the years traveling up and down the road with guys like Luger, pop, Steiner's, pop, Buff Bagwell, pop. There's some names from the past. I traveled with all these guys and we looked to the generation ahead of us, the guys who shaped my career, guys like Dusty Rhodes, big pop, the most charismatic human I've seen in my life. Love you, Dusty. Big pop for that. Hulk Hogan, boo. And he says, okay, I hear you. But Hulk transcended wrestling and I did learn something from the guy. It's like he's like, hey, I feel you. I know. Not a lot of Hulk Hogan fans in this crowd right here. He says, but one of the guys I really want to give a lot of love to is the Nature Boy Ric Flair, big pop. He says, thank you, Rick. Thank you for all the moments. I remember Clash of Champions 88, the very first World Championship match that I had with you, and you put me on the map. Then in 1990 at the Great American Bash World Title match, and this time I come out the victor. Thank you once again, Nature Boy. We used to wonder what makes these guys come back year after year, decade after decade. What more do they have to prove? And I got to tell you, here I am all these years later, and I understand why they hang on. It's a smell of the arenas. I love that smell. It's a camaraderie on the road with the guys traveling all over the globe. It's the roar of you, the fans. And I'll pause here. He romanticizes it in such a genuine way that although to me in my mid-40s, that sounds miserable, him reflecting on it just sounds so awesome, you know?
You can tell why it's important to him.
Yeah, exactly. He says, should I be jumping off balconies? And then the people kind of laugh because that's what he's been doing. He's okay, we'll talk about that. He says, so getting back to that word, before I quite get there, I know some of you are thinking, he retired once already. Yeah, I said the word retire, but I got to tell you, that retirement in 2015 just didn't sit right with me. And besides that, there was one key moment in my retirement speech that I made. The only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. Which brings me now to the word retirement again. I want to address it right here on Dynamite in the great state of Texas. So here it goes. I started my first match in AEW at Revolution 2021, and my very last match will be at Revolution 2024. One more key thing you guys need to know. The only thing for sure about Sting is that my retirement at Revolution 2024 is for sure. He's calling it a day.
Yeah.
This was so lovely, man. I love Sting. I think he's great.
Yeah, Sting's great. Icon, legend, franchise. All the superlatives you can throw his way feel earned and genuine.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
He's been such a cornerstone of the wrestling business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for nearly 40 years now.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. And as you mentioned, all of this just felt genuine. It felt like, all right, I'm gonna go and talk about retiring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nothing felt forced. It just felt like he might have had some general ideas of what he wanted to say and just went out there and did it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no pretense about it. He wasn't trying too hard. He wasn't trying to connect with the people sitting there, us watching on TV, because he has that connection. He's earned that connection throughout his career.
That's right. That's right.
So,
yeah. God, it feels like Dump on Edge Day. I really don't mean to. He seems like a lovely guy.
He does seem like a nice guy. I liked Pearl Jam too until about 1998.
Yeah.
Maybe 96.
Yeah. These days, dude, honestly, there's like the first two albums are the only ones I could really listen to.
Oh, I like Vitology. I
like it. I know I like it, but when I listen to it, because I tried recently, I listened to it. I like it, but I just end up putting on the Beast of the Second Side of Black. I'm sorry, of 10.
Of 10?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I listen to 10 like way too much, so that the album cuts I can still listen to, but the singles like
The singles I can't. That's why, because all the singles are on the A side.
Predominantly, yeah.
Yeah, if you go to the last 6 songs, oh my God, I can listen to those over and over again. They're great. Anyways. After that, and not a lot is played off of verses, like on the, because they didn't have any singles. They didn't have any. Oh, they didn't have any videos, anyways.
Yeah. No, same for Vitology. They didn't do any.
They didn't do any videos until Do the Evolution.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Tony Storm interview, and RJ said he introduces her new silent film, Gone with the Storm, and Tony rushes in and says, "Don't say another word. Behold my life's work. Sit back, relax, chin up, tits out. Now play the picture." And we get this picture. I watched this shit on so I can get the full musical, accompaniment here.
Accompaniment, yes.
Yeah. And I kind of liked just the straight up pantomime of the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
This one had RJ City as a studio executive,
mm-hmm.
And it was still pretty funny. They had a pearl necklace joke at the end, which I popped big for. That shit was hilarious. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was good. Then we had JR interviewing Nick Wayne and Nick Wayne's mom. So he opens the interview saying, "Man, Nick, if your dad was here, he could really help out the situation." He says, and then he lectures Nick, says, "You're going to learn that having great friends in wrestling is rare." So he asks Nick's mom, "What are you thinking? What were you thinking when Nick turned on Darby?" She says, "It was shocking to me, truly shocking. In the time I've had to reflect since it happened, I still haven't been able to make sense of it. I don't understand. Darby has been like a brother to you. He's been there since the beginning. This is so out of character for you. Christian. The things he has said about your father, the things he said about and to me. Nick, I don't recognize you anymore. I don't know who this is. Son, you have to understand this is not the way. Son, please," like she's pleading with him.
Yeah.
And he says, "Shut up.
Shut up. You don't understand. It was always about him. I was always in his shadow. No one ever congratulated me for making it here, and they congratulated him for getting me here. It's time for me to prove myself and prove why I'm here." And then Mom
Why don't
Wayne,
they talk about the AR Fox thing? Like that's all the like dude came into my garage and was about to stab me in the throat with a shard of glass, and then Darby hugs him 2 weeks later.
He's got backstage heat, man.
I feel like that's like a more interesting story beat. That I've been in Darby's shadow. I need to prove myself.
Yeah, he's got that heat.
How many times have we seen that story?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying, I think that's probably why
that's
just
probably
wrote him
why.
off.
Yeah, because he's not going to be on TV for a while.
And then
Nick Wayne's mom says, "This isn't it." And
this is
Nick
it.
says,
This is me. I'm under a new father figure now. Christian Cage, better father figure than Dad ever was. So Christian steps in, puts his hand on Wayne's shoulder, says, "You ready to come home, son?" With a big smile on his face. So Nick gets up to leave, and his mom puts her hand on his shoulder. Nick says, "Don't touch me. You're a terrible mother." And then she slaps him, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And Christian says, "Don't abuse him like that." And Nick says, "You're dead to me." And then Christian says, "You should have picked up the phone." And they leave, and they go out this door, and she goes up the door. She's like, "Oh," but then you hear this big commotion on the other side of the door. And the camera guy just happens to be there, so they cut to the other side of the door. Darby's laid out Christian, throws Nick into a barricade. Commentary is like, "Oh my God, what just happened here?" And then Darby and Nick brawl. Their brawl spills out onto the ramp. Christian and Luchasaurus walk out. Luchasaurus throws Darby down the ramp. Sting comes out to make the save. Corners Christian in the ring. Looks for Scorpion Deathlock. Luchasaurus pulls him to safety. And then Christian and Luchasaurus join Nick Wayne on the ramp. And his tooth is all busted up.
Like his tooth got busted in half. He's bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander interview. So Statlander's, Renee mentions Hook, Statlander, Orange, all champions. Statlander says the TBS title is about great pro wrestling, and that's why I want to give Willow Nightingale a shot at Battle of the Belts.
Mm-hmm.
And so Renee asks Orange about having the international title back, and Orange says, there's this thing that people say. He's trying to remember what it is, and Chuck says, "You don't know what you got till it's gone." And Orange is like, "Yes, that's it." So now they got the international title back. I'm going to do what I did before and defend it. There's unfinished business. So this Saturday, I've got something to prove. There's a 3-way match, I think, on Rampage. Winner of that faces Orange Cassidy.
It's John Silver and
Skip Sabian and somebody else. Yeah. It was a very talky A very talky episode of
It was talky, yeah.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Very.
And then we had our main event, the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. MJF did commentary on this. That was good. And at one point, he offers Dustin $100 to do the thing that Dustin does where he kicks a guy in the balls.
Shattered Dreams.
Shattered Dreams, yeah. So he did that. A bunch of mini stories playing out here. The stuff with Menard and Garcia. There you go. That played out here because he was letting the hip gyrations, dominate. And that ended up, he was distracted by his own hip gyration, so he ended up getting knocked out or, eliminated from the match.
Yeah. So Max Caster, Juice Robinson are the final two. Caster hits Juice with the mic drop. So then Jay White comes out to commentary and attacks MJF. So their brawl goes out to the stage. MJF's on top of Jay White, hitting some ground and pound. And during the brawl, Triple B's laying on the ground. So Max picks it up and looks to hit Jay with it. So when he takes the swing with the title, Jay ducks that and hits MJF with a low blow. So Caster's in the ring watching all this and is distracted by it. That allows Juice to come to. He gets that TJ Maxx ring out, puts it on his finger, punches Caster with it, and then throws him over the top rope to win. And so then Jay picks up Triple B, walks to the ring, celebrates with Bullet Club Gold in the ring while MJF is selling the front area shot on the ramp.
Yep. That's right. You want to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions.
So Wrestle and Wriggle here. We already answered this one. He says, who do you guys think will retire Sting? We talked about that. I think it's going to be Darby. It seems clear it's going to be Darby. I'm sort of curious if they're going to rope the TNT title into it all, though.
Yeah,
somehow.
maybe.
Let's see here.
Who knows? Sean Pickles says, who are your picks for the 2024 Royal Rumbles? Sean predicts Gunther and Jade Cargill.
Oh, for the Rumble? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Boy, oh, boy. I think it's going to be Cody. Because I think that's how you get to Cody Roman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cody's a safe pick.
And Jade, I guess, makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Jade makes the most sense.
Yeah, Jade does make the most sense.
Are they going to do the thing? They could. You could go a couple different ways because they were teasing Bianca and Rhea a lot after Mania. Could be Bianca to take on Rhea. Bianca maybe wins at Mania. Because Bianca, I think, is sort of the only person at Rhea's kind of level.
Well, they could also do Bianca and Charlotte because that's the last of the horsewomen she is yet to feud with, right? On main roster.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel like Jade Charlotte should be the Mania match.
Oh, I agree.
And I'm wondering if they would have Charlotte beat Io. She's got that match coming up tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
Is it tomorrow or it's on a
so.
pay-per-view. I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I think
and I don't know if it would be then, but then you have Charlotte have a good long run by the time Mania comes around. Jade wins the Royal Rumble, so she has plenty of time, and they got plenty and honestly, if you're going to put Jade in there at Mania against anybody, look, there's a ton of great wrestlers there in the women's division, but Charlotte, I think, is one of those that, as we saw with Charlotte versus Rhea last year, it's like, oh my God, Rhea's a great wrestler and everything, but Charlotte can go in there and make sure that the match is going to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
So, because she has a lot more experience than Jade. So I think Jade, I could.
Oh, Alex Foster, if you guys joined the Kingdom, how would you show your support for Next Strong?
What Bennett's doing with the cover song. You know, I find another.
What new metal song would you cover? Neck themed, of course. To say, hey, look, Mike Bennett, I support Next Strong.
I got it. I'd cover break stuff. It'd be neck stuff.
Okay.
Sort of a loose rhyme there.
All right. Okay.
Let's see here. But yeah,
Super Brawl '98 is not funny. It's tedious and long and boring.
Yeah.
Because Hogan just beats the shit out of Sting for like 20 minutes, and then Macho Man tosses in some spray paint. Sting wins. That's what happened.
Spoiler alert, everybody. Let's see here. Okay, this is good. We'll end on this one because then the stream picked up, I guess, again, because my stream went down. So Josh Smith, new channel member, says this question is for Steve. If you could change your physical appearance to become a different fat version of a past or present WWE or NXT superstar, who would you want to be a more husky version of?
This is fascinating. I'm curious about your answer here.
Okay, man.
Choose wisely.
Oh man, I'd say I would be. I think it'd be really cool if people were like, man, you look like a fat version of Trick Williams. Because I'd still be good looking. He's a good looking guy.
He's a handsome
tall, man. Then I know, hey, all I got to do is put a couple months of work in at the gym, and then I'll just be like, wow, you just look like Trick Williams. I'm like, get all the ladies. I'm married now, but if that goes south. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later. There's a lot of great answers here. Fat Carrying Cross.
Dijak, couple Dijaks here.
Fat Roman, yeah. Oh, man. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.